My name's Sky Huddleston. My father and I started Liberator Rocket Heaters over 15 years ago to reduce heating costs. He and I, we were looking for a wood stove for our house to reduce our utility bills and to be independent in the case of an emergency, grid down, etc. And so obviously before you drop $1,000+ on a wood stove, you're going to do your research and figure out what works, what doesn't work, the different types of stoves, their pros, their cons, etc., etc. And so to that end, we found upon and happened upon rocket stove heaters. So rocket heaters are rocket stoves made for indoor use. They have heat exchangers on the top, and these heat exchangers have cooktops, so that number one, you can cook on them, which is a pretty unique feature for a pellet stove. Secondarily, they are rocket stoves. And what rocket stoves are is they're effectively a highly insulated Dakota fire hole. Dakota fire holes are a Native American technology. They date back hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years, probably thousands. And you would dig a U-shaped channel into the soil, you would load wood into one side, and then you'd have a cook pot or a cooking surface on the other side. And this creates a lot of turbulence, good proper homogenization, mixing between the VOCs and the oxidizer so that you get a consistent clean burn with a small amount of fuel. And because it's such a small chamber and because the gas flow is proportionate to the fuel consumption, it concentrates all the heat exactly where you need it. And a rocket stove is a portable version, so rather than digging a U-shaped channel in the dirt, you take the rocket stove with you, and it has refractory liner. Usually it's made out of steel or clay or something along those lines. So it's more insulative than soil, which has a tendency to draw heat off. And the refractory liner supercharges the effect. And then a rocket mass heater is that concept enlarged so that you can use larger pieces of wood and fuel. In our design, you can gravity feed it pellets, and now there's an integral cooktop, there's a heat exchanger, there's an internal chimney that directs all the heat to the top of the heat exchanger / cooktop, and only the relatively cooler gases can fall down the heat exchanger and out the exhaust on the back. So the process for how a rocket stove heater is made is we take steel like this. These are bars, tubes. We have plates and sheets over there on the opposite side of the camera. We have more bars over here for smaller pieces, and we make things like the heat exchanger, the combustion chamber, the legs, the base plates, the cooktops, etc. So we take in the materials, we store the materials here, and when we need to cut the material to size, we take the material off the tier racks, we take it to the bandsaw if they're bar and tube stock, or the CNC plasma cutter if it's sheet or plate stock. Then the bandsaw cuts the parts to length if they're bar or tube stock. From there, the parts are then in any ancillary holes that need to be drilled are taken over to the drill presses and milling machines, and the holes are drilled. The surfaces that need to be flush and flat for mating are milled, and then from there, all the raw components now finished and they're cut, they're machined, they're drilled, etc. They're taken to the welding station. The sheet stock goes to the CNC plasma cutter. The general shape is cut out on the CNC plasma cutter, and then the grinders are used to remove any sharp edges, dross, and burrs. And then all those materials are taken to the weld station where all the parts are welded together. After they're welded together, then the heaters are taken to the paint and prep station. And then the part is painted, and then after it's painted, it's taken to packaging where it's placed onto a pallet, screwed down to the pallet, stretch wrapped, and then it's crated. Rocket heaters have a lot of advantages over conventional wood stoves, pellet stoves, and other heating sources. Our rocket stove heater is a transformer insofar as that you can transform it from a gravity-fed non-electric pellet stove into a wood stove and back in about 10 seconds with no tools. You lift up the pellet hopper, and then you remove the burn grate, and now it's a wood stove. And to transform it from a wood stove into a pellet stove, all you have to do is you lift up the ash cleanout door, insert the pellet burn grate, drop the pellet hopper down onto the fuel feed tube, and now it's a gravity-fed, non-electric pellet stove. So you can go from pellets to wood and back very quickly and very easily with no fuss. So you can run pellets overnight for 12+ hour burn times, and you can run wood during the day.